But enough about that. The third piggy is right over there. So let's just head over there and pick it up. And, oh yeah, this reminds me. Maybe I should change the L targeting settings. I'm just gonna pick that thing up and I'll take care of that right afterwards. So go into the menu, options, targeting mode, switch to switch, and here you go. Yeah, I use the switch L targeting setting. Call me a sissy if you want. Feel free to do so. I don't give a damn. With that being said, I found it sort of annoying that this wasn't even an option in Skyward Sword. So, take a good look at this pig, because when we come back to this island later in the game, that pig will be dead. Because remember the black one, the one we picked up first? That black piggy is a cannibal pig. That's right, because it hungers for the living flesh of its own king brethren. But that's something we're going to tackle a bit later in this game. And by the way, this couple who loves pigs so much, they don't seem to mind. They act like they've only had one piggy all along, which is kind of creepy considering how she's enjoying herself so much with 3 pigs right now. But anyway, we got all 60 rupees we could get from this little side quest. It's not too much, but it's always rather important to keep your finances afloat as much as possible in this game. Now, this is Grandma's house, but before we go in, we're just going to go under instead, because there's a secret entrance. Want to guess what it leads to? If you've been following a certain theme and what I've been doing thus far, yep, it's Granny's life savings! 100 rupees! And wow, thank God I didn't waste any rupees here because I'm almost at the cap. But you start out with a wallet that can contain 200 rupees, but later on in the game you can upgrade it to 1,000 and then 5,000. But unfortunately, that's not something we can do right now. So, before we head to see Grandma, one last thing, I promise, one last thing that I'm going to do. Over there is a boat. That is where we're going to spend many of our hard-earned rupees, but not all of them. You know what I'm thinking about when I say that. But yeah, meet Beetle. I believe Beetle's first appearance was in Wind Waker. He's a wandering merchant who has boats like this all over the sea, so if you ever need some merchandise, you can stop at Beetle's place. So first thing I bought from him is a bait bag. The purpose of the bait is something that we're going to cover a little bit later, because that's not something we need right now, but since I almost hit the cap for my rupee wallet anyway, I'm going to buy it and fill it up right now with some bait. So as for Beetle, whenever you buy something from him, except for one particular shop that we're going to cover later on, he's going to add 1 point to your membership card, and yeah, we're going to cover what the bait does later on. As I said, don't worry, there are many different uses for it, but we're going to get to that later. But yeah, once we reach 30 points on our membership card, we're going to get a silver membership, which we're gonna cover that later on. Of course, I can't really top what Chugga Conroy did when it came to that, but we're gonna get to that later. I am saying that a lot, we're gonna get to that later, but that's because, you know, if I explain everything in the first half an hour, there's simply going to be nothing left for the rest of the game. And since 100%ing this game is a long endeavor, I want to keep something to talk about for later. So, sorry about that. Anyway, we've been asked at Granny's house forever ago, so let's not make her wait any longer. We gotta get there before she dies of old age, or something like that. So, the reason why she called me out all the way out here is because, well, you can probably see it coming. You can see it in her hands. It's the traditional Link uniform that we're going to get. This is basically the explanation for why Link has the clothes of the hero in this game. It's because it's a custom of Outset Island that whenever they turn unspecified age, they always talk about coming of age and such, but never say the actual age for some reason. It's the age of the hero of time in Ocarina of Time, at the very least. But yeah, this is the explanation for why Link has the hero's clothes, is because it's just a custom, and it just so happens that crap hits the fan on this very day. But yeah, I suppose Orca is the only one who knows anything about swordplay, and gee, I wonder what I'm going to be using as a shield in this game. But yeah, as for swordplay, we've been hearing a lot about this Orca fellow, so we could visit him right now, but it would be sort of redundant because we're going to get a little sword practice session, but we're going to have one that's actually part of the story in like 3 minutes, so it would be a complete waste of time to go see Orca right now. So, inviting the whole island, making my favorite soup, yada yada yada. Now go find Errol, who is, if she hasn't been using her ninja powers too much, she's going to be at the same place she was when we last left her, at Errol's Lookout. Sorry, I can't get over just how awkward that introduction was. Couldn't they think of anything better? Well, as I said, it's a lot better than just saying, hi, my name is Errol, or something like that, but seriously, maybe have another character introduce her name or something, I don't know, but what we got still felt like rather weak writing. So, while I'm climbing this ladder, just a word to tell you that, falling down is a bit more forgiving here than in other Zelda games. Sometimes you're going to fall down, you're going to stagger for a second, but you're not going to take any damage. And by the way, those seagulls that were around Arrow, they're, I wouldn't say very important, but sort of important in that, in an X marks the spot fashion, wherever you find gulls, you're gonna find arrows. So, not very important, but still, something to keep in mind. So, now we're about to receive a birthday present from Errol. I'm going to give you my most treasured belonging, but just for one day. That means for the rest of the game, because you just know that if she gives it to you for just one day, it's going to be gone pretty quick, even though it's not the most useful thing in the world, quite frankly, that telescope. You can equip it to X, Y, or Z, like for most items that you can use in this fashion. If you're familiar with 3D Zelda games, you should already know the system, so I'm just going to map it to the Z button. So, okay, she asks us to look at the red post box, and here's a postman, and okay, I was sort of wondering, I was staring at the post box, and she was still saying, "Huh, are you looking at the post box?" And the postman is freaking out because of this! This big birdie fella is called the Helmarok King, and the fact that it's got a name implies that it's pretty important. Anyway, yeah, shiver me timbers, there'll be pirate on Outset Island! Okay, sorry about that. That was horrible. Now that this is done, I'm not going to speak like a pirate for the remainder of this LP. But yeah, the pirates are busy firing at the Helmarok King because it's got their leader and its talents, and there she goes! She's dead! Game over! Okay, nah, just kidding. You heard that sound of foliage. That means that her fall was broken by something in that forest. And it would sort of suck if one of the major characters died before we were even introduced to them. So, as Errol said, going up there is too dangerous for an unarmed kid like Link, so this is where Orca comes in. Remember how everyone said that he was good at swordplay and fencing and stuff? Well, now it's time for us to actually learn how to use a sword. 20 plus minutes into the game, that's a while longer than in my Ocarina of Time LP, but as I said, this is not a speed run. So anyway, Orca figures out that something happened by the look on Link's face, because, you know, Link never says anything, unless you know it's a crappy cartoon or a crappy CDI game, but let's try and erase that from our collective memories, okay? So, time for a little sword tutorial, which we actually didn't really get in Ocarina of Time. Horizontal slice. Face me and press B. Very simple. Just stand there, press B. Just continue doing that, and whoops, sorry about that. Forced habit, you know, I always tend to just run towards my target as I strike with my sword, which is another move entirely. Vertical slice, L target, stand still. I say stand still and I still thrust. You know, it's just, as I said, forced habit, but it's not something we're really gonna need. This isn't Skyward Sword here. Thrust, L target, then go towards the target and press B. So yeah, this is what I was doing. I can only imagine the guy upstairs who's hearing all kinds of noise, and then the old man screams, "Very good! Keep thrusting! Keep thrusting!" Oh my god, so much innuendo. Anyway, spin attack works the same way it did on the N64. Just hold down B and boom! Now, next move is brand new to this game. Parry attack. L target until the A button flashes on the UI. Like this. This was a backslice. There's another type of parry attack called the Helm Splitter. Let's see if I can do it. No, it's a backslice, and I missed! I missed in the freaking tutorial! This never happened to me. Oh well, no problem. We're gonna see. I guarantee we're gonna see the Helm Splitter a lot by the time this game is over. Anyway, jump attack. L target, press A. Simple as that. So these were our basic sword moves that we're going to be using to kick a lot of ass throughout the game. And I'll be honest with you, Link in this game for some reason feels a lot more powerful than he did on the N64. So now he's actually going to give us that sword for keeps. You know what that means? The butter knife comes back with a revenge! That is right. This is a very similar starting sword to the one we had in Ocarina of Time that has not much in the way of power and no range whatsoever. Hence why I'm still going to call it the butter knife in this game, because functionally it's the exact same thing as it was in Ocarina of Time. So now that we have our precious butter knife, it's time to head up the mountains to find out what happened to this pirate girl. By the way, something that I completely forgot to mention, just in case you care, and at this point of the game you shouldn't, but Outset Island is located on square G2 of the map. That would be the square just to the east of the southwestern corner of the map. Yeah, this is really a podunk island that's far away from any civilization. And of course that's why you needed that sword in order to climb to begin with, because that wall of trees, you can't go past it unless you have a sword, obviously. Though, the fact that you can chop up trees like that with a sword, of course you can't chop up bigger trees, but still, not very realistic. But then again, people complained a lot when this game first came out about the cartoony, cel-shaded graphics, but ironically, it's one of the reasons why this game aged surprisingly well. Anyway, here's the pirate girl who's unconscious despite hanging by a thread, you know, on a tree branch. If I was hanging from a tree branch like that, you can be sure I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be unconscious. Anyway, finally, after almost half an hour of waiting, I finally get to kill something! This critter is called a Bokoblin. This is, you know, the basic enemy of the game. Some of them use weapons such as sticks and swords and stuff, and even telescopes. Some others, like this one, do not. Now, this giant rock here, when we come back later in the game, this is going to be very important. You are going to really desperately want to come back here. So, I thought the grass would give me a little more money than that, but whatever. That's all for today. See you next time.